This is The Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
Good morning, Tuscaloosa, Internet world, West Alabama. How we doing today on this Wednesday? It's The Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral, BamaCentral.com. You guys are hanging out with us on the BamaCentral YouTube channel. We appreciate everybody who it is. You can subscribe, rate, and review the show on Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. We appreciate you hanging out with us live in the Derek Daniels State Farm Studios. We're right here off of McFarland Boulevard, trying to get your Wednesday going. We appreciate everybody. We're here with Mason Woods. Follow Mason Woods at MAWoods_ on the Twitter machine. We're going to hopefully have a little fun show. I got a lot of random notes today, so we're going to do a lot of crazy things today on the Joe Gaither Show. We appreciate everybody joining us. Send us a comment, question, query, or complaint. You can find it at Joe Gaither 6. You can leave a comment at MAWoods_ at BamaCentral, or be like my friend Robert from Brookwood and call us on the voicemail machine at 205-462-7340. Robert's got us a voicemail. I don't know what it's about quite yet, but we will play it. And so you can call and talk about whatever topic you want to bring to the show, and we'll react to it. We're going to have a fun show. What are we doing today, Mason? We're talking about 94 days away from kickoff. Oh, we're going to talk about 5 minutes each on ULM and Eastern Illinois, maybe 2.5 minutes each. Maybe it's going to be a 5 minute total segment on Know Your Enemy, ULM and Eastern Illinois. We're going to talk about EA Sports cover curses, maybe.
Ooh.
We're going to talk about the Alabama. Yeah, I mean, come on. Let's you got to. Who was on the cover last year for Alabama?
I mean, who was just the main guy, Donovan? He had a horrible season.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about college football 26, the news that came out yesterday. Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams both on the cover. We will talk, Greg Sankey still angry. We talked a little bit about that yesterday. We will continue as more news came out from Destin. Are you going to 8 or 9 games? ESPN wants the SEC, and Alabama as a part of that, to go to 9 conference games. We'll talk about that. What the battle between the coaches and the athletic directors. Lane Kiffin on with Paul Feinbaum the other day.
Paul Feinbaum had himself a day. See Kevin Kirby getting into it. I mean, not getting into it, but
no. Paul Feinbaum did what I what drives me crazy yesterday. We'll go to that second. We're going to go Edric Hill first. And then if we have any more time, I've got to just Josh Pate's recent show talking about fall Saturdays. Do they still feel the same? Basically, he was pushing back on the sport's falling apart. He was like, well, the fall Saturdays still feel the same. No, they don't, Josh. We will talk about that as well. So that's the itinerary. Appreciate everybody jumping in and joining us. Leave us a comment, question, query, or complaint. That's our favorite part on the comment section. And let's get right into it by asking Mason Woods, how we doing this morning?
Oh, I'm doing good. Right as we were getting the show started, a little bit of just a touch of recruiting news here. Alabama getting another official visitor, going to be in town this summer on June 20th, 2026. Offensive tackle Mitchell Smith from Picayune, Mississippi. Home of some pretty good athletes out of that school. Just another one there. It's going to be on the list. I think Alabama has 2 or 3 other guys coming this summer from that school. Can't even remember all the names now, but a handful of guys from that neck of the woods.
Well, there we go. Picayune. It's going to be a big weekend. Isn't there like 25 5-stars? You can get to it on Friday, but
we got 14 players that are going to be in town. Another one locked in an official visit. I believe it was either on Monday or it was over the weekend. Jet Tomala, quarterback who is currently committed to Iowa State, but has been kind of rising up recruiting boards relatively rapidly over the last 2 months or so. They got him. I think Booby Feaster's going to be in town. A good bit of guys.
Yeah, the Alabama Twitter sphere makes you think that it's the 14 best players in the class all coming to Tuscaloosa this weekend. Yeah. Now, maybe they turn out to be that way. We'll see how Courtney Morgan going to get it going. What do you think about Courtney Morgan? The video that's getting sent out to recruits, this little hype video.
It's pretty good. I really liked it. Right, I loved it up until the very last 2 seconds of the video when they tried to throw a weird Game of Thrones reference in there. I would venture a guess that many of these recruits really don't even know what that is. We're pretty far. We're 6 years, 7 years removed from Game of Thrones now.
Don't tell me that, because it feels like just
these
yesterday.
Were children.
It feels like
show ended.
It feels like just yesterday we were lamenting about the show. It's crash landing.
Yeah, I mean, like the one that I watched, the most recent, Braden Rouse. 2026. He's 17, 18. He's probably 17 right now. He was 10 years old when that show ended. I don't think he was watching it. I don't think he knows what Game of Thrones is. So maybe we need to get a little bit more with the times, just a touch. But regardless, the editing and everything was super cool. The little like flash of the names, the different text, like that was super cool. They did a great job with it.
Just triggered me off a tangent. My ADD. What is the HBO show that the kids are most familiar with? Because to me, like you can just throw them out there. Succession. You can throw out The Wire. You can throw out Sopranos. You can throw out Game of Thrones. And I'm like, yep. I
don't think kids really watch TV like that anymore.
No.
I think most kids, I would imagine, I don't know, but I don't really think that kids are watching TV shows like that. I think it's more,
I'm still
a lot of
up
YouTube. It's probably they should have gotten with some streamer or something to do it. That's what they needed. Go
to Streamer University and get them all to.
Yeah, there we go.
Get them all to get Streamer University with Drewski and Roll Tide Willie.
I mean, that would probably have a bigger impact than a Game of Thrones reference,
but I think they're probably trying to move away from Roll Tide Willie.
I think they might be. Maybe trying to distance themselves.
That's okay.
Yesterday this came yesterday right around 5-6 o'clock. Sincere Johnson locked in his commitment date June 19th. 4-star linebacker is one of the guys that will be here this weekend. Very excited about him as a player. I think he is super versatile, can do basically whatever you need him to do. And he's kind of one of those guys where it's just get him here and then you'll figure out where he develops best.
June 19th, my dog's supposed to be fixed that day, thankfully. Whew. My dog was supposed to be fixed this month, but she just happened to step into heat the same week that she was supposed to be fixed. Oh, of course. Nature calls. All right, so let's get this show rolling here. 94 days away.
We got some good ones for 94.
Well, you want to start with Edric Hill? Let's start with the actual Alabama player on the roster. Edric Hill, he was a 5-star, wasn't he? I'm pretty sure he was a 5-star out of Buford. Edric Hill. Oh yeah, you can find that perfect. Yeah, he was out of Buford.
Oh, he was a 4-star.
Well, okay, he's a 5-star in your heart. Out of Buford, and
he had to be close. Number 6 overall player in the state of Missouri.
Wasn't he
from Kansas City? From North? I thought he was from
Buford High School.
Why are we? Who are we like confusing him with? Did he transfer or something? And he's originally from Buford and went. Because I've got his 247 page here, Edric Hill. It's got North Kansas City High School, Kansas City, Missouri.
All right, there we go. We were wrong. We're learning about Edric Hill as we speak.
Wow. He had to have transferred or something in his senior year of high school, and that's why we're getting this. Because that was also in my head too, and I feel like the two of us would not be that wrong, which then again I say that we probably very well could.
No, I know who we're thinking of. Edric Houston.
We are
who did go to Ohio State.
Two people. Okay. That makes sense.
Who did go to Ohio State and at Buford High School. Was a 5-star composite player. Yep. All right. Well, good luck. Edric Hill hasn't really been, earned playing time in 2023, recorded a tackle, played in 9 games in 2024, not really getting a whole lot of love. Registered 3 tackles in 2024. We'll see if he can crack the rotation. Let's pivot this then, since we thought about we were confused a little bit. Let's pivot this to the defensive line depth and just how challenging it's going to be to get some playing time. You've got Alabama with just a loaded defensive line room. We talked about it 2 days ago with Tim Keenan with Theo Fernandez. But you're going to have a hard time getting onto the field as a defensive lineman if your name's not Tim Keenan, if your name is not James Smith. Everybody else, I mean, I do think you're going to get Jeremiah Beeman. Mm-hmm. I do think you're going to get Kelby Collins and obviously LT. But it's going to be hard to find some playing time, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do we think Edric Hill can, spell LT Overton at that bandit spot, at that kind of? I don't really know if that's necessarily his skill set.
Spelling James Smith, maybe.
Yeah, I think he's more of a going to be in for Tim Keenan, James Smith kind of player. So I think that maybe continues to limit his chances just a little bit because both of those guys are so good. And LT Overton's great, but I think with edge rusher, it's such a high octane, high energy thing. You might just get more opportunities to get in there if a guy gets worn out. I mean, I think the opportunities will be there somewhat. I don't know that he's necessarily going to be I don't think he's going to be your main guy. He's not going to be overly impactful. I don't think he has a bad year by any means. Probably just kind of a rotational piece again, though.
Redshirt sophomore. This is your time to break out, my man. This is your time third year, time to break out and get on some NFL draft radars.
I mean, for his sake, I would think he's probably trying to take just about every snap he can from Jeremiah Beeman. But like you said, I think Beeman is a very talented player who is going to be fighting for it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So who else did you see for 94? Isn't it Daron Payne?
Yeah, we got Daron Payne.
That's
we
my
had
favorite.
DJ Dale.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And a little bit of throwback, John Copeland.
Oh,
yeah.
The bookend. One of the bookends. Yes. Okay, so there's your winner.
Probably the winner, yeah. Not anybody I had the pleasure of getting to watch myself, but I think I understand the lore surrounding and everything.
John Copeland coached at Tuscaloosa Academy, right, a couple miles away from us, and then was involved in some local media around here and there. Great defensive lineman, unbelievable.
5th overall pick in 1993.
Bengals, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Cincinnati Bengals, 93 to 01.
93. I'm 3 years old, so that's good on my history. Good job, Joe. Yeah.
Pretty good.
All right. So John Copeland days away from Alabama football. We'll just move right into the Paul Feinbaum since we said we were going to do that. You drive me nuts. Yeah. You have the stones to say, "Oh, I think Georgia's going to be in trouble at quarterback." Okay, great. Perfect. Mm-hmm. And then Kirby Smart comes onto your set, and I hope you didn't hear what I said earlier.
Could not even look him in the eye.
Like, dude, it's just football. It's just football. If you think Gunnar Stockton's not going to be good, it's fine. And Kirby was giving you heck for it because, thanks for the motivation. We don't worry, we saw it. And Feinbaum did the same sort of thing with Lane Kiffin, too. He's like, I know we've had bad history before, like all clinched up in anxiety. And like, look, I do not like confrontation. I don't. Sure. I really don't. But like, this is part of the job. Mm-hmm. This is part of it a little bit where you have an opinion, and you're in the opinion sphere.
You got to back it up.
I just don't like the way he deals with it. As far as I'm going to say that I believe that Lane Kiffin had a bad year because they lost to Kentucky and they blew it to Florida. Mm-hmm. But then when he comes onto the set, he's going to say, "Oh, well, I hope we don't
I've admired you for so long, Lane.
We don't need to talk about what I said about your year last year."
Yeah, no. If you're gonna make a take, stand behind it. We've said some probably pretty mean things about some football players. And, if the time comes where one of them comes to me with a video that says, "Why did you say this about me?" I'm going to have to own that, unfortunately, and say, "Look, man, you had a bad week." It is what it is. I think that especially Kirby Smart, Lane Kiffin, any other coach has a great understanding of what the media does. And they know that it is Paul Feinbaum's job to sit there and be entertaining to his thousands of listeners. The listeners want to hear the problems with college football teams. They don't want to hear just 3 or 4 hours of, here's all sunshine and rainbows about everybody. That's not what's entertaining to people. Like, Kirby Smart knows this.
You saw how many games of Gunnar, like down at 2-2?
2?
Right. And so in your 2-game sample size, if you thought he wasn't that good, you can, it's fine to say that.
You have that opinion, but just stand on it.
And Kirby can sit in the back of his mind saying, "Well, there's only 2 games. You don't really know what I see in front." Mm-hmm. Like, it's fine. Everybody's perception can be
You can all valid. Have your opinion. Yeah. I think Paul Feinbaum's opinion on Gunnar Stockton is perfectly valid. I think that what we saw last year did not give you a whole lot of belief in him as your quarterback if you're Georgia. Now, again, like you said, Kirby Smart sees him every day at practice. He's seen any bit he's developed throughout the spring and like that. So maybe he's a much different quarterback now than he was then. But in that 2-game sample size, he was not overly impressive.
So Paul Feinbaum drives me crazy. But I know we should take a page out of his book and start saying some more inflammatory things.
Maybe, I guess. I mean, we get after it a little bit on this show,
From time to time, for sure. All right, Mason Woods. We want to promote the voicemail line as best we could. The next thing we're going to do is go to ULM in Eastern Illinois. But we do want to highlight the voicemail line and make sure that you guys are using it. And Robert from Brookwood did call today. So we want to play Robert's call and find out what his topic is. You can be like Robert, 205-462-7340, extension 800. Bring whatever you want to the table. Do you like Paul Feinbaum and his takes? Are you a fan of Edric Hill? What do you think about 93? 93 is Jonathan Allen.
Jonathan Allen.
Easy. Like, that's easy money right there.
He was 92, wasn't he?
Yeah. So who's your favorite 93? We're still looking for an older Alabama fan to give me a great Alabama drive, not in the Nick Saban era.
Mm-hmm.
So
there's got to be some.
Of course. So we'll see you on the voicemail line, just like Robert, 205-462-7340, extension 800.
Joe, this is real quick. This is Robert from Brookwood. Sorry I hadn't been calling lately. Been a lot of things going on, busy, but I'm going to try to get back in the groove with you. I got one comment to make. I've always rooted for Alabama schools, regardless if they're the University of Alabama. I'm bringing Samford up from Birmingham. You're supposed to be a Christian school, Christian values, but you had a punk player the way he acted against Mercer in a baseball game Saturday. If you haven't saw it, look at the footage. It was a disgrace. Coach should have said, you disgraced our school. You ever act like that again, you're off the team. But no, the coach condoned it. He's not took one word or said one word about it. And the mom, I guess the player gets his attitude from his mom. When she found out her little precious baby got ejected, she's going to stand up on the Mercer bullpen and just dug out and just act like a fool, and she got ejected too. It was just horrible for Alabama school that represents the state of Alabama to act like that, especially one with so-called Christian values. I'll never root for Samford again. I'll personally be there next February when they come to Tuscaloosa for a game, and I might just get eaten. Well, I'm not going to get ejected, but I'll not lower myself the way they acted. But it was just a disgrace to college baseball for that player to act like it, especially from a school that's supposed to have higher values. Have a good day, guys. God bless.
Oh, I love it.
That's fiery.
I love it.
That's fiery.
I didn't realize that was Samford.
I didn't either. I saw that clip, watched the whole video, I didn't think even you got like a John Boy breakdown of it.
He was a turd.
That kid was a menace. Yeah, I wanted to be on his side really bad. I read the caption and it was, Mercer upset over kid pimping a home run.
Oh,
it was so much more than just pimping a home run.
Yes.
It was so much more than just pimping a home run. I really wanted to be on his side, but that video made me not like him so much.
Robert's exactly right.
Yeah, he really is. It was not a good look. It was just
throw your bat in the air, straight up in the air, and then go run the bases.
Yeah, you can even hit a little skip, sure, if you want to. Maybe when you get back to home plate, stare the pitcher down when you walk back, sure. You don't have to talk to every single player on the field and say something probably pretty bad to them because of the way they all reacted.
He runs the bases and he looks at almost bleep you, bleep you, bleep you, and I'm just like, oh, he's still going. Robert's exactly right.
He is. It was. I don't even. Because the issue, he wasn't ejected, correct? And then Mercer was so angry that he was not ejected. I think it caused a whole stir. And then I want to say he ended up getting ejected, maybe. But I think like initially they just kind of let it happen. And then I want to say the Mercer third base or the Mercer head coach, I guess, came out and it was furious over the situation. All the players were riled up. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought that was what the video.
Yeah, so I said Gumpton continued to celebrate, which angered Fry and the rest of the Mercer team. Fry attempted to follow Gumpton before the umpire stopped him. This led Mercer's coaching staff arguing with the umpire crew, and Mercer began taking players off the field to protest Gumpton's actions.
Yes.
Southern Conference Commissioner Michael Cross eventually talked to the umpires on the field, and Gumpton and Fry were both tossed from the game.
Okay. Yeah, this was the thing where, like I read the caption, like I said, and the caption read is just like I said, kid pimps home run, and then it was like Mercer pulls team off field in protest. And I was like, that's the softest thing I've ever heard, Mercer. Shame on you. But you watch that video.
It was horrible.
It's so bad.
He's lucky that those guys didn't just fight him.
He's very lucky that he did not get stomped out at home plate because he quite literally, watch the video for yourself, people. Like he goes player by player, start first baseman, second baseman, shortstop, third baseman, hits the pitcher on the way to home, hits the catcher when he gets to home plate. Every one of them, bleep you, bleep you, bleep you, just whatever. You can't do that, buddy. I'm sorry. You get your bat flip. You can do your little hop, skip, jump around first base, whatever. But unfortunately, you cannot single out every single player in the infield and have disparaging remarks for them. That's got to be where we draw the line.
Robert, amen.
Yeah, I got to be with you. That's one of my like. I'm all for celebrating and everything. I am very much in the camp of like, I don't care. Get out there and dance.
To the victor, get the spoils.
Yes, but like there is a line. Like one of my biggest issues with soccer is how much they allow players to celebrate after goals. Like it goes on for way too long. Guy will run the entire perimeter of the field, jump into the stands, rip his clothes off, dump a Gatorade on him. It's like it will go on for minutes. And then, like, that's too much. This was that. This was on par with it. It was just like, I get it. You get to celebrate, but to an extent.
Are you familiar with the New England Revolution MLS soccer team?
No.
Well, you get the message, the theme, Colonial.
Sure.
Right. Guy scores this week, 2 weeks ago, recently.
Mm-hmm.
Guy scores, goes into the stands where the I guess
They have a firing
their
squad
mascots,
or
right,
something.
and they're all shooting blanks.
Yep.
And he jumps in there and he goes, all right, and he mimics him, and they all shoot it together. And I had the caption, Trey Young is so jealous. Isn't that no, John Moran. I'm sorry, Trey.
That
I'm
would
sorry.
be that would be a $5 million fine in the NFL.
Dude. Robert is exactly
He
right.
is exactly right.
Is this guy transferring to Tennessee next year?
Quite possibly. I think Tony Vitello saw that and he said, I want him. Get him here. I do think, he brings up the Christian school aspect of Samford and everything.
It's got to be a part of it.
Yes. However, I think it is a bit naive to expect these kids to all assimilate to whatever. Like AJ DeBanza is at BYU right now. I don't think he's a Mormon.
But he represents them.
Yes.
Okay, all right, we'll go there.
I don't think
if
that
AJ
matters to the
DeBanza,
kid as much as it matters to the school. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
certainly. But if AJ DeBanza gets himself caught with a lady in the dorm room,
Sure,
because that's against BYU policies.
Well, did you see he is doing NIL deals with Red Bull, which is directly against Mormon. They can't drink caffeine.
Right.
I think they're almost, they're not going to let him do whatever he wants, but they're going to let him do a lot of what he wants to a certain extent because he is very good at the sport. Now, I don't know that this guy has that same credence at Samford, but I think that is a part of it where to him,
you still have to. No, he doesn't care. No, but the coach.
Yes,
the coach. You've got to be instilling some sort of, hey, we're a Christian school.
Hey, you gotta,
whether
you believe it or not, you gotta,
right,
represent this.
The boosters, the athletic directors,
yes.
the admin, the people who come cheer for you, they want you to represent us in a certain way.
I would love to see, and I don't know that he has, or if he has, I haven't seen it. The coaches, the Samford coach's response, and what he has about it, or if he has had the chance to talk about it, because yes, this is the kid's a grown adult. He's probably 19, 20 years old. He made his own decision to do that, but also it does reflect poorly on the coach a bit that even anybody on the team thought maybe it's all right if I do this. Not a great look for the whole program.
Samford falls to ETSU in the title game. Let's see. I just clicked news. They gave Tony David a 5-year, the Samford coach last year, a 5-year extension.
They're stoked with that decision.
Yeah, there's no. I don't see any. I don't see any. Okay, yeah.
I mean, it's not like you can see. Well, I guess the season's over, so you're not going to suspend him. What do you do? I guess you maybe if he's going to be there next year, which he'll probably just end up transferring. But you're going to tell him you're suspended for the first 5 games of next season, buddy. Just transfer.
Oh yeah. Put him through some community service.
They probably got something at Samford, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, not a great look. Not a good look.
And like I'm usually with you. Like,
yes.
Let's make baseball exciting.
1,000%. I love the bat flips. I want guys staring down pitchers as they walk. The kid from Vanderbilt, I think it was Vanderbilt, the Vanderbilt pitcher that sat there and just stared the batter down through that tire. That was the coolest thing ever. I love that stuff. But this was it was just too far. And you gotta, you just gotta call it like it is.
Great call, Robert from Brookwood. I appreciate your call. Absolutely. And I think you're 100% right.
1,000%.
Call just like Robert, 205-462-7340, extension 800. If you want to bring up, look, it doesn't have to be University of Alabama. I love that. Great stuff. Okay, let's move ahead a little bit and knock out 2 cupcakes. We've been doing Know Your Enemy on Wednesdays. We have already done who? Texas. We've already done Florida. We've already done Georgia.
Big hitters.
Alabama's playing Georgia, and you don't have Texas or Florida on schedule. We just want to try to hit as many teams as in the SEC and on Alabama's schedule.
Not completely out of the question that you wind up playing Texas or Florida by the end of the season. So
what is it? Right over left?
I didn't even realize there was a specific. You had to do one or the other.
I didn't realize there was until they went to the White House this past 2 weeks ago, last week, to celebrate their championship. Yeah. The caption, they had the players and a bunch of the admin all kind of around them, and the caption I think was right over left as they were all
learn something new.
Maybe it was left over right, and I just made that up. And
I mean, regardless, I think I've probably done it both ways multiple times.
So Alabama's got 2 cupcakes on the schedule, ULM in the second week and Eastern Illinois way late in the schedule. First thing I want to ask you, Mason Woods, is how much 2007 ULM game is going to be hammered in late August, early September?
I can't lie to you. When I was thinking about this, I did not even consider that. Did not even pop into my brain. It's been like one of those things that gets hammered into the ground so much, and especially last year when everyone – you remember Saban losing to ULM? It's gonna be okay. Like I heard that so many times from so many people, and I just kind of pushed it to way back burner in my brain. But I'm sure it will get brought up once again. You'll see probably, I'm sure you'll see an ESPN graphic or a Sports Center game day graphic. It'll be the last time or whatever it is, and it'll get brought up. I would imagine a fair amount that week leading up to that game. Does it matter? No. Does it have any effect on this whatsoever? No.
Winsipedia. I can never spell Winsipedia.
Yeah, was that the last time?
That's what I'm about to look at.
I feel like they've played since then.
Yes, you've played twice since then. Alabama's waxed them 34-0 in 2015, and Alabama waxed them 63-7 in 2022. Alabama vacated a win in 06, 41-7.
I'm sure that whoever it is at ESPN or wherever will figure out some sort of way to word it so that they can get just the one loss on the graphic and this game on the graphic. The last time these two teams played when it was 75 degrees outside and the sun was shining at this. Yeah, there'll be something like that, like they do with LeBron stats.
My thing is like, why will we talk about it? But people, we will talk about it. You're going to get the players' availability that week. Oh, my gosh.
Do you remember did you watch this game when you were a kid?
Well, okay, what is 07 to now? Like, okay, my math is terrible. It's 17. That's almost 20 years. That's 18 years, roughly. No, these kids were like in the womb.
A lot of them, were not doing it. They were chewing on teething toys.
Exactly. And so it's going to. I'm gonna punch one of my colleagues when it happens. I'm gonna punch them. Watch out.
I know that someone's going to ask a question.
That's
like
a warning to my fellow beat writers.
That man, no, that was almost 20 years ago. This kid has no idea what I'm talking about. Someone will just kind of absentmindedly think, well, easy, there's a question right there, and just throw it right out there without even really considering how long
What do you remember about Alabama losing to UM? We'll be like, I don't remember anything in those 5 years. But I guess they'll throw the same question at the coaches and ask them about where were you? Yeah. I guess Kane Womack, was he at Arkansas playing at that time? Was he on the Peyton Hillis team at that time? Because he went to Arkansas, right? That would have been right around that time. So Kane Womack, that'll be a good question, but really that's going to drive me nuts.
Looks like he was at Southern Miss. I guess he played 2 years at Arkansas, 2 years at Southern Miss.
Okay.
So he was at Southern Miss when it happens. It's still close to the situation.
Yeah, he'll remember it at least.
He'll know about it. You think it was even on Kalen DeBoer's radar, really?
No,
me neither. Wasn't thinking about it.
No, he's at Sioux Falls at that time, and he's like, we don't even have internet up here. I'm just sketching plays on a whiteboard.
Freddie Roach, remember?
Oh gosh, yes. What do you think about? This is what I wrote yesterday with Kalen DeBoer. He just can't help himself. He's just so nice. He just answers the question without. I don't want to say without thinking, because he absolutely thinks. That's dumb. Sure. That's not right. He goes and they're asking about 8 or 9 game schedule, and goes. He starts the answer with last year's how we played power. I wonder what his quote was. I wonder what other teams would have done with our schedule. Mm-hmm. Can you just answer 8 or 9 games? And if you want to put it in the context of we're playing Wisconsin and Florida State this year, so 9 games probably would be tough to play this year. Cool, great. Mm-hmm. And I had to write it because it's the only news part. It's the the flashy headline. And I hated it.
You
I
don't get to
hated
say
it.
that. You just don't get to say that when you lost to Vanderbilt and Oklahoma in the ways that you did. You know, you don't get to play the look at who we played because you also played some bad teams that you lost to. I understand you got good wins. That win against Georgia was one of the best wins of anybody in the country, but you also had some of the worst losses of anybody in the country.
SEC spring meetings does nothing but just creates headlines. Oh, so Coach, and I'm sure he meant nothing by it. I'm sure he is already moved into 2025. But people, you got the Dave Ubben from the Athletic who's going on about Alabama still crying about not being in the playoff, and it's like, no, they're not. I don't think that's the case.
Yeah.
It's just a relevant discussion again.
I think Kalen DeBoer was trying to find a way to answer that question without really saying much at all, and that was the conclusion he came to.
So what did you find out about ULM? ULM last year was not good. Where's my list right there? They were 5-7 last season.
End of the year on a 6-game losing streak.
Waxed by, let's look at the comparables are Texas 51-3, Auburn 48-14. And did I have one more comparable? No, but South Alabama waxed them 46-17 as well. So
tough teams.
Second week of the year, you're going down to Tallahassee. Probably going to be a tough game. Probably, I'm feeling like I'm liking that Florida State at plus 12.5 right now. Yeah.
That's a 3-score game at least.
I see 10. I see a 10-point win.
I see a
10-point win.
17 minimum.
A 10-point win and Joe Cash's money on 12.5.
17 minimum.
All right. Well, I mean, we'll see how we keep getting there.
We'll see.
But you get that second
Stay
week,
confident.
and it's just another 55. It's going to be bad.
Get your bag, ULM, I guess. But man, yeah, this is not good for. This is just not it won't be a fun game to watch. I understand. Look, and we'll get there. It'll be better than Eastern Illinois, but it's still not going to be a fun game to watch. This is going to be very likely a 4-score win. 4-touchdown game. Like it's ULM is decent for the Sun Belt. They have a chance, I think, to maybe get bowl eligible this year. They were almost there last season. They're returning their quarterback from last year, who wasn't great, but if he can take a little bit of a step forward, they'll probably be all right. They brought some offensive linemen back. They lost their best player off last year's team, Ahmad Hardy, to Missouri, running back, rushed for I think 1,300 yards. So, it's going to be tough to replace any bit of success, the little bit of success they had last season, because most of it was on the back of Ahmad Hardy. But they did bring in a few transfer running backs. They brought in a decent freshman, Deshaun Ford. So I think it's going to be a lot of them just same thing they did last year, just hammer the ball, and we'll see if they can get to 6 wins. I think that's basically what they're looking for in 2025. ULM is just, can we please get to a bowl game?
The last time ULM played Alabama, I was just there. Million? Yeah. Let's see. The last time Alabama played them, Alabama paid $1.9 million. Yikes.
What do you think that got them? Where do you think that went? New equipment in the weight room, maybe?
It went to Terry Bowden's contract.
Might be right.
Public records indicate ULM football pulled in $3.3 million in game guarantees in 2021, with 1.9 of that coming from Alabama. So you'd imagine that you're paying. See, Greg, you're looking to save money? We're looking to cut the budget in the athletic department. Can we not just get? And I know a lot of these contracts are already set in stone. I wrote it out. They're out to 2035. But like in 2036, obviously we're not going to be scheduling right now because of 8 or 9 games. Sure. But like, you want to save this $2 million? We're looking for just schedule Georgia Tech.
Yep.
Just schedule. Pick your local school that you're not going to have to pay. Who would you not have to pay? Are you paying Memphis? You're probably not. Yes, you're paying Memphis a little. Yeah, maybe you're probably paying them a little. Just revive your series with Georgia Tech.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah. Georgia
Tech. We like the Tallahassee, Florida State. We like that matchup. We like Clemson, close by.
I always loved when they play. I love the Virginia Tech games.
Yeah, yeah, just
great.
Drives me nuts. Why are we paying these schools $2 million to waste our time and to waste their time? But you got a ULM in the second week. Mason Woods just gave you 3 minutes on what they're bringing back and what they lost. I think that's pretty good enough for me. All right, I'm 55-0.
Yeah, will not be a competitive game.
You're gonna see Keelan Russell, Austin Mack, and K-Dot Caruth.
Pretty likely. Yeah.
No, you won't. Maybe, but you'll see at least three.
I think you'll see 3 quarterbacks this game.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So fast forward and wrap this bad boy up. Fast forward to week number, this is 11 technically on the games, but I think this is like week 13, 14 roughly on the schedule. November 22nd, Alabama, Eastern Illinois.
The Panthers.
This is going to be even worse.
I got to say, the good uniforms. They got some good uniforms. So it'll be at least pleasing to watch somewhat. You know, ULM, those colors are not going to look great on the field together, the crimson and the maroon and yellow. But Eastern Illinois has got just nice blue and black. That'll be a good contrast there. So you can look forward to that at least.
Coach, athletic directors, ESPN Plus. This is 11 a.m. Do not stick this at 2. Don't stick it at 3. Don't make me wait till 5 or 6 p.m.
Please.
Just 11 a.m. Knock this bad boy out. As Eastern Illinois was 3-9 last year. 3-9, losing the only comparable games on their schedule to Alabama, 45-0 in the season opener to Illinois, and losing 2 weeks later at Northwestern 31-7. Getting beat by basically everybody else on their schedule. They lost to Tennessee Tech. If that puts you a little closer, it gives you a little more perspective. They lost to Ty Simpson's father, UT Martin, 52-17. Ty Simpson's father had no mercy on them. So Ty's going to be ready for that one as well. They lost to Tennessee State, 41-17. This is going to be pretty ugly. Their coach, Chris Wilkerson's in his 4th, 5th season with Eastern Illinois, but has yet to really put together anything positive there.
Had one good year. 2023, they went 8-3. Other than that, it hasn't been more than 3 wins.
Tough sledding at Eastern Illinois.
Yeah, offense was bad last year. Only averaged, let's see what I had, 18.7 points per game in 24. So we're not able to do much offensively. Defense allowed 30 points per game. They lost their quarterback to the transfer, or I think he graduated. Lost their best running back from last year to the transfer portal. Brought back a few of their receivers, but this is a bad football team. It's just going to be a bad football team. Would not be surprised at all to see Alabama get into 70. Now they'll obviously take the foot off the gas, but even then, they might still.
All right. I like this. Good business, Greg Byrne. This does not cost Alabama $2 million. Reportedly, June 15, 2022, On 3 Sports writes that this game, the contract is $500,000.
All right, good. I mean, Eastern Illinois, they can go contact some of their alum if they need some money. They got some good guys: Tony Romo, Sean Payton. Did not realize Sean Payton went there. We talked about Jimmy G yesterday. They can get some money off of those guys. They don't need to get it off the Crimson Tide.
That's my biggest pet peeve in sports.
Yeah, because especially now, because it just doesn't make any sense to spend any money elsewhere other than on players, basically, and facilities and things like that. Things to acquire players with how NIL and things are going. I get it made sense to an extent prior to that, because it was like, well, if we have the expendable income to just buy some easy wins, sure, let's buy some easy wins. But now you need that money elsewhere. You need that money for NIL deals. You need that money for guys on the transfer, things like that. So it does not make a lot of sense to be throwing money around when you could, like you said, schedule a Georgia Tech, a Virginia, whatever team perfect. It is, Power 5 team that is somewhat of a bottom dweller of their conference.
Let's just get an actual home and home on the deck. And Alabama is looking at the home games, trying to have the home games and the home gate, and makes sense. But can we not just go home and home with Wake Forest and
give me that?
Just load up. You got 4 non-conference games right now until the SEC changes things. So if you have to go on the road twice and you get 2 home games, that's great. You got your 8 SEC games. It's 4 and 4, right? Mm-hmm. So you have 6 home games. I know if you're a big boy institution, you probably want 7 or 8 home games, but come on, what are we giving and taking? So, 70-0 against Eastern Illinois as well. The good thing for Alabama is this kind of gives you a little bit of a break before you play the Iron Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, this is just essentially a third bye week.
Yeah, well, this is a break in a really challenging month. You've got LSU, Oklahoma, and then Eastern Illinois for your break, and then Auburn. Last year, I think that trio of games was challenging, very challenging. And I think Oklahoma definitely got overlooked.
if Keelan Russell's not the starter already by this point in the season, just throw him out there and let him start this.
Oh
game.
yeah.
Just let him start.
If you haven't burned his red shirt,
yeah. I mean, come on, like just let him get out there and do it. I think there's still a chance that he might take over that job by this point of the season.
A chance,
pretty high chance.
This just hit me. Do you think Keelan Russell faced? Which defense is? What defenses are more challenging for Keelan Russell? 6A, 7A Texas State high school football or Eastern Illinois?
I probably not all that far off.
I'm being mean, but
yes, but like he is playing in a division of high school football where it is loaded with 3, 4, and 5 stars. You know, at almost every position on the field. So many of those guys are going to play college football. And a lot of them, the lowest level of which is comparable to Eastern Illinois. So like it's not all that crazy to think that he might have an easier time facing off against them than he would in college or in high school. Now, coaching is probably different, you know, the things like that. But again, not all that crazy.
So you get the 2 cupcakes. We just wanted to knock them out just to say that we talked about them a little bit here. Alabama, 120 to 10?
Yeah, that seems pretty fair.
Yeah, I'm going 120 to 10 combined on those games. So we'll pick back up next week with a real opponent. We'll either go Wisconsin, Vanderbilt. Do you want to go Ole Miss? Do you want to go South Carolina?
Oh. Let's go. Let's go out of conference. Let's go Wisconsin. I don't know much about the Badgers.
Fun fact: my high school's fight song is the same tune to Wisconsin's. On Macaulay, dun, 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 dun. Same tune. So we will see Wisconsin coming in September 13th, and we will talk about the Badgers. We'll see if is Shez Malusi still on their team. I liked him as a running back last year. He was good.
Probably transferred out.
Yes, probably transferred out. Absolutely. So we'll continue Know Your Enemy next week with Wisconsin. Let's take one quick break, tell you about Warren Tire, and come back and talk about Ryan Williams.
So my name is Russ Warren, and I'm one of the owners here at Warren Tire. We started in 1961. My granddad on University Boulevard, so we've been kind of a staple here in the Tuscaloosa and the University of Alabama community since then. And so thankful to be in the 3rd generation. And we have 2 locations now in Tuscaloosa. We're right here at the 15th Street location right now, where we just do tires, brakes, and alignments mostly here. Our university location does oil changes, engine work, air conditioning work, front end work, the whole 9 yards. And so any of our 2 locations, you can come check us out.
We appreciate Russ Warren and Warren Tire for sponsoring the program. Yes, like he just said, they got 2 great locations that get you in and out and back on the road. Tires, brakes, and alignment on 15th Street. Every other automotive need on University Boulevard, right in the shadow of DCH, right there in between DCH and Arby's. Whew. Mason Woods, a lot of fun yesterday on the Twitter sphere with Ryan Williams, with Jeremiah Smith, as people are getting excited for the new college football 26. Revealed to you yesterday that it took me, how many months has it been since the first game came out? 9 months, 8 months to win my first national championship in our group dynasty, because one player is so much better than I am. So I did it just in time for the new game to come out next month. It took me 11 months to get that guy. But new game comes out next month. You see a little video, you see a little footage, you see some behind the scenes stuff. Ryan Williams going and basically talking about playing it as a kid and then being surreal and being it's great. He becomes the 4th Alabama athlete to grace the cover. Sean Alexander at 01. You got Mark Ingram in, was it 14? 12. Yeah. In 12, Mark Ingram. I guess this is not. Do you count Jalen Milroe last year because it was the deluxe edition? It wasn't the regular edition, but he was on the cover. Yeah. So I gave him credit in our BamaCentral article, and then now there is no doubt Ryan Williams is standing alone with Jeremiah Smith on the main cover.
Flood of people behind them.
That's the deluxe edition.
Okay,
right. Okay. That's the souped up. You probably paid $120 and got all your ultimate team stuff, which, by the way, EA Sports, that's the worst concept you've ever had.
Yeah, don't ever pre-order anything. It's a scam.
Don't play Ultimate Team.
Oh, yeah.
It's the worst. It's the worst concept in the world. I hate it so much.
Gambling for children.
Yes. The worst concept in the world.
Yeah, I had hoped with this game they'd move off of the yearly release. I knew it was going to happen, but I was just hoping for there's a small chance to be like, maybe they learned their lesson. No, they haven't. It'll be just the same thing that happens with Madden. Now, I didn't play NCAA. I think it was widely received a lot better than the more recent Madden games have been. But unfortunate that they will just fall into the exact same thing they do with that franchise. But regardless, Ryan Williams looks cool on the cover. Jeremiah Smith is noticeably larger than him. I wanted to see the video and be like, oh, he's not that much bigger, but then they stand side by side and you can very much tell the physical difference between the two of them. And I think that really is the main thing that separates them as prospects or as, NFL caliber, receivers. I did see that Bryce Underwood was on the cover. Preposterous.
That's insane.
Yeah, I think it should just be a law. You got to take at least one snap in college football before you can grace the cover of the college football game. That's crazy. I don't really I get why they do it, especially now because they are giving all of these players money and everything to be on this cover and things like that. So I get why they're trying to get as many of them as they can because
you got good. DJ Lagway. You ended up with Caleb Downs is on the deluxe edition.
I miss just a single cover athlete. Just give me the one sweet picture, not even necessarily a picture, the cool, like looks like a painting, I miss that. Those are the best covers. The ones that stick out to me, obviously the Mark Ingram one with the glove. I think Tebow had a really good one in there somewhere.
Was his name Jared Zabransky, the Boise State quarterback? Jared something.
I do remember that cover. But yeah, I wish they would get back to those. Those were some good ones. But it's okay. This is the new modern game. Obviously, they're not going to.
Well, last year's was fine. With the main edition with just the three was cool to me. Fine. You had Travis Hunter, Quinn Ewers, and Donovan Edwards, and I guess two of them had bad years, and Travis Hunter won the Heisman. So
I guess that takes us to the next point,
right? I got a couple things from Ryan. First, I guess you can just go into the cover curses from all the Maddens, all that. I don't believe in any of that, so I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, I'm trying to recall. I don't recall the NCAA one being an issue, really.
Well, now, because they couldn't be on the cover until they're out of college football.
Oh, is that what it was?
Right. That's why Mark was on it in 12 because he had just been drafted.
Okay. I never even noticed that. Okay.
Right, and that's
But either way, I don't.
Zabransky, the Boise State quarterback, was on it the year after the little Statue of Liberty, right?
So. Okay. I'm not gonna. Even the Madden curse has kind of fallen off a cliff a little bit the last 3, 4, 5 years.
Is Saquon back on the cover? He 2 years in a row, right?
Saquon, I think, is going to be on the cover doing
He had a great year last year.
Yeah. Who else would you put on there? Honestly, you might as well just put the whole Eagles team on the cover.
Put the offensive line on there. Just tush push. That's what they need to do. Just push the tush push right there on the cover.
But yeah, the Madden curse, it had a good run there for a while throughout the 2000s, early 2010s, where it seemed like every year it was happening. Guy would get a catastrophic injury right after being on the cover, but it's kind of fallen off a bit. There's not as much evidence to back it up now that we've been going for a bit longer. So I'm not too worried about that, I don't think.
I did not realize that Jeremiah Smith had 15 receiving touchdowns last year. He's 15. So I'm looking at the stats as I'm writing this article up. Basically like, Williams had this many receptions. Smith had that many receptions. And then I stumble across a tweet that says Ryan Williams had one cool catch and a spin move against Georgia and became rode it all the way to fame. And
he had the Odell Beckham trajectory of make one cool play and then you don't have to do a whole lot else.
Ryan Williams, 48 catches, 865, 8 touchdowns, four rushes, 48 yards, and another 2 rushing touchdowns. So 10 total touchdowns as a freshman. What's that? 865 and 48 is roughly 900 yards of offense on 50 touches.
It's not a bad first year, I'd say.
No, it's not. But
is it cover athlete work?
Right. That's the question. Jeremiah Smith, you earned it, buddy.
Jeremiah Smith, you earned it 1,000%.
1,300 yards, what, 76 receptions, 1,300 yards, 15 touchdowns, and then he had another 50 yards rushing and 1 touchdown.
Now, is Ryan Williams one of the top 2 wide receivers in college football? Very likely, yes. It's him and Jeremiah Smith, probably everybody else. Did Ryan Williams deserve to be on this cover? I don't necessarily think so.
Should they have just done Jeremiah Smith by himself doing the just bicep?
I think they absolutely should have done just Jeremiah Smith by himself.
Put Ryan with a deluxe edition.
Yeah. Did Jeremiah Smith, his team won the championship. He got all these things. He just was better than Ryan Williams. I think he, unfortunately, probably just is better than Ryan Williams. I know that sucks to hear for Alabama fans, but they're different. They're different guys.
Okay. Well, let's swap Jalen Milroe and Will Howard. Does it change? Do the numbers flip?
Jalen Milroe and Will Howard are virtually in the same position in the NFL now. So,
sure,
they're kind of the same kind of player. I don't know that it has that much of an effect. I don't know that it changes that much, to be honest.
Ryan Williams didn't have to. Okay, I'll flip it. Ryan Williams didn't get the luxury of having Emeka Egbuka on the other side drawing all the coverage away from him.
I'll give you that for sure.
You got to.
He only had Jeremy Bernard over there.
Yeah, Egbuka was a second round pick. Right? Okay. Come on, we got to get Ryan Williams. Ryan Williams didn't have Quinshon Judkins.
I've run through this argument so many times in my head to try to justify it. I just think Ryan Williams, unfortunately, is just a tier under Jeremiah Smith.
He didn't have Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson in the backfield. Two second round picks.
He just had 2 second-round picks in the backfield potentially.
Okay,
it's not great. Ryan Williams is still fantastic. He is still going to be a probably top 5 pick in the NFL draft.
Do you think the NFL scouts are just like, over these eligibility rules? We want to draft him right now.
Absolutely. Yes. It just is what it is, though. I think Jeremiah Smith should have been probably the only player on this cover.
Okay. All right. So game comes out, early access July 7th, full access on July 10. I'll probably get it in November, September when I get bored again, and we'll see how it goes. Last year's game was good. It was definitely good to have it back, available. My biggest complaint was it's a simulation game, right? It's a simulation game, and so as someone who I'm sitting here like, if I do X, Y, and Z with the scheme, it should work. But it's just a simulation game based on animations. Yep. And so once I figured that out about 2 months ago and started figuring out, when I see this player run this animation, bam, it's automatic.
That was always my biggest, that was kind of what got me off of playing the EA sports games, was it got so annoying that everything is animated. It's not physics based. It's based off of, if these parameters happen, we play this animation, and you basically lose control of your, player character for a half second or whatever it is. And he just runs the same, spinning one-handed catch or whatever it is, or diving tackle animation. They've got however many thousands of animations there are, but you play the game long enough, you see the same ones, and you know exactly when they're going to happen. You know what you have to do to avoid them, and you can kind of play around that. Whereas it feels like the old games, and I don't know if this is how they were, but it felt this way. They were a lot less animation based, and the engines were different on them. So I don't know. Just out on EA, they're gonna have to woo me.
Woo! Give me 2 claps and a Ric Flair. All right. So
they also don't want to release the game on PC. So I'm definitely not buying an Xbox or a PC or a PlayStation to play this game. It's a good game, but it's not that good.
When are they gonna take care of you guys?
They never do. It's not enough people play on computers. It's not really cost effective for them to spend all the time developing it, because as I understand it, it's like 2 completely different processes doing it for console and computer.
Well, if you ever get bored, you can come to the house. You can come to the house and play it for a little bit. I'll just read or do something else, and you can get your fix.
Be all right. I don't need to give EA anything. They've taken enough from me in my life.
That's exactly right. How many hours have I wasted playing FIFA?
God. Yeah, I played a lot. I used to play a good bit of FIFA. I never knew really what I was doing, because I never knew soccer. I would try to do the team manager thing. Could not. I would just do quick play games for hours.
Our stuff, quick play, and then we did pro clubs where you could play as one player. So all 5 of us were on the same team.
That's pretty fun. I loved doing that with the 2K games.
Yeah, great stuff. Yeah. That was and then they got rid of that mode. Yeah. It's like
they ruin everything. It's microtransactions and stuff. It's
right. I had a group.
Video games suck now.
In my heyday, I had a group of about 10, 12 guys, and you could get 5, 6 on a team at a time, and it'd be, hey, we're running things right here. It was fun.
But now you can't do that any longer.
Not anymore. All right.
Timmy that spent $400 to get his character to the maximum level, and he's going to dominate everybody
with his blue hair. Blue hair and green skin.
Yeah, Timmy that stole his mom's credit card.
Ugh, don't do that, kids. Got in trouble for that once. Let's move on into college football playoff because Greg Sankey was mad on Monday and then more mad on Tuesday. And
Mad
more
on Monday, mad on Tuesday, mad again today.
Basically, I think the politics are wearing on him a little bit. And I think the yen is wearing on him a little bit. The you don't care about the sport is I think he's like, you guys don't understand what the heck I'm trying to do and how many people I'm trying to make happy and balance.
Yeah, we talked about it yesterday. Like he always kind of has this attitude of like, hey guys, this is sports. I think he's losing that attitude by the day, more and more by the day because of how annoyed he's getting with the entire like you said, all the politics surrounding it. It is no longer just sports.
So what I've read from yesterday is that in their meetings, the coaches are all like, why wouldn't we do a 5 AQs and 11, the 11,
5 + 11.
Right. Why wouldn't we do that model? And Greg Sankey, I think, is got the presidents and athletic directors in his ear saying, no, we cannot do this. We need to have our guaranteed spots. Look, if the 5-11 model has 5 teams and 11 SEC schools, great. If it has 5, conference champions and 11 Big Ten schools, great. If it has, play this out in whatever conference you like. It doesn't matter. Like, of course, the money matters, but the sport as a whole is really being eroded. The soul of the sport is really being eroded because, look, last week, why was I happy that the Tush Push survived? Because competition, like it is about the competition on the field. It's about, I'm going to line up who's the best, who's the strongest, who can, get the snap count right. I'm better than you. My 11 great. This automatic qualifying, we need to have 4 baked in bids. We need to have 8 baked in bids. It's and the antithesis of competition. You give the 5 AQs for SEC, Big 10, Big 12, ACC conference champions, and oh wow, the Sun Belt had a good team, or Conference USA had a good team, or American had a good team, whoever. And great, those are your 5 AQs. They get baked in. You made it through. You did the thing, guys. You qualified. Yep. Even if you were 9-3 and you won a tiebreaker, you got to the championship game and you won it against probably a better team than on paper than you. Just embrace competition. Embrace it. You look back at this last year, it just drives me absolutely nuts.
Yeah, I think Greg Burns said it. I don't know when he said it. I was just reading it before we started recording, but saying that moving to the automatic qualifiers could potentially result in the SEC missing out on spots in the playoff. And he's exactly right, because like you said, there are going to be years, obviously, where you're not going to get 3, 4 teams in the playoff. There will be down seasons. But there's also going to be years where you maybe get 5 or 6 teams in the playoff. And you can't afford to miss out on those kind of seasons. Like college football, like we've talked about a lot, is very cyclical. It comes and goes. It ebbs and flows. These conferences get they have down years and up years, and they go in swings. Like it just happens. The SEC right now is on a bit of a downswing as from where it has been the last 15
just
years.
A hair,
years
yeah.
Just a touch, taking a bit of a backseat to the Big Ten the last few seasons. But all it takes is 1 or 2 years, and they're right back there in the front of it. And then you're like, oh man, the SEC starts getting the benefit of the doubt a little bit when it comes time to decide these seedings. And then, next thing you know, you got 5 teams in the playoff, and it's like, okay, we're raking in cash for the SEC.
The biggest thing to me was Scott Strickland yesterday talking about I don't know if a committee is the best way to pick. Of course, it's not the best way.
We told you that 12 years ago.
Right. We want to pick the best 4 teams. We want to pick the most deserving 4 teams. And the committee splits and argues with each other. Is it best 4 or most deserving 4? And it's been that same stupid conversation for the last decade. Look, we had a great system.
Mm-hmm. A flawed system, but a great system. I think that just one championship game inherently is always flawed.
Oh, sure. Okay, yes, I agree with you. But I mean the metric to make 1 through 12, the metric to make 1 through 25. You could take the dang old BCS, I think, all the way out to 50, 136. Like the metric was, if Team A beats Team B, this is what the metrics are going to do. If we're going to take into there was a period I remember the strength of victory was it was a big thing, and it was you got to run up the score on teams, this, that, and the other. And that was, are we going to consider strength of victory or not? Do we want teams to be running up the score? That became a thing. But the metrics were measurable. And it's just like, why do keep the committee? They're all getting paid. You need to, have those fat cat salaries and make those people feel important. But what you do is you get the daggum BCS poll and you say, hey guys, this is the list. Is anything really wrong with it? Anything really wrong with it? Like, real bad off. You see a team that's at 18 that probably should be at 12 because they're undefeated and they didn't get it calculated quite right because
all kinds of factors.
Sure. But take the human element out of it.
Agreed.
At least at the start.
Yep.
You let these what did you have, like 8 different computer polls conglomerated together for the BCS? You had 3 or 4 different human element. Like it was a 12-something poll. I'm looking this up because it was so easy.
Because now more than ever, too, you have so much, AI technology and algorithms and things at your disposal, and there's so much more easily accessible than they ever have been. Like it would be nothing to take the BCS formula, whatever it was, however they figured that on that computer, tweak it just slightly to be more, applicable to modern football, however you want to do, whether it's, like you said, adjusting strength of victory, adjusting whatever, tweaking this, tweaking that, whatever it is. And then it could very easily pump you out, like you said, top 135 teams, or the top 100 teams, top 50 teams, top 25 teams. And then you take that to your committee of people who are actually unbiased, not committee members from Notre Dame, not athletic directors from Ohio State or whatever school, a committee of people who actually have no ties to the schools involved. And you have them look at it and say, looks good or doesn't look good. Maybe you put maybe you put a cap on, hey, if you're going to change anything, you're only allowed to change this many teams around. Everything else has to stay the same. I don't know. There are so many better ways to do this than just say, hey, team of 12 completely biased people with their own agenda that they want to push, come to a consensus on these 12 teams. It's ridiculous. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. It just would be so easy to fix, and they refuse to do it.
All right. The BCS consists of 2 human elements, from which 2/3 of the BCS formula is taken. So you still had opinion, but that 1/3 of the computers kind of gives you some grounding here. The 2 polls were the Harris Interactive College Football Poll and the USA Today Coaches Poll, which get rid of the Coaches Poll.
Yeah, Coaches Poll is garbage.
All 105 voters from the Harris vote on teams 1 through 25, points awarded in reverse basis. If all 105 voters decide to vote one team first, that team would be awarded 105 times, 25 points. Basically, it's all metric based. And so
there's nothing really subjective about
the third and final part of BCS calculations is derived from 6 computer rankings posted weekly. The computer polls managed by people, newspapers, and the BCS itself are as follows. There were 6 polls listed. The BCS aggregates the standings of each of these 6 computer polls and awards teams 25 points for a first, same sort of way. You could tell strength of schedule is bladed in here. Oh my goodness, just drives me crazy. And so when we canned the BCS because they spit out LSU and Alabama one year. Sorry, guys. That was the way it just happened. Oklahoma State, you blew it.
We need chat CFP, and it's a partnership with the CFP and Chat GPT, and it's an AI algorithm that just gives us our top 25 teams. You can take that to your committee of people who, like I said, you cannot have them be ADs from Ohio State and Notre Dame.
No.
But you can take that to your team of people, whoever you want it to be, media members, former coaches, former players, whoever. Take that to them and let them look at that list and decide, are there any glaring errors? Are there any egregious errors? If there's not, you roll with it.
They really need to.
Who would be the best to be on that committee?
Well, what they do with it is just, we don't need to sit in a room and talk for 10 hours. You all got the BCS printout. Vote your vote. right now.
Yeah.
Submit your vote. We don't need to be debating, trading politics, trading votes, trading rankings. No, you see the BCS. What do you want to change? Do you want to stick with it, or you want to make a change? You can make your elements, submit it, and then factor that in with the BCS.
Yeah.
And if there was enough changes,
Sure.
it just drives me absolutely crazy how much the hands in the sport. We got to make sure the SEC gets 5 bids because we need to make sure that we have our money allotment. It's all about money, and it's all about making sure that we get our piece of the playoff revenue. Just be good, and you will.
Yeah, it's that easy. They want
the coaches yesterday seemed to be like, why wouldn't we do this?
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't we? And so I'm kind of hopeful that they get to be the ones that lead, but it's going to be athletic directors being like, well, our budgets need to make sure we got to plan our budgets 10 years in advance.
They want to take the road of, rather than have, like I said, potentially very high years and low years of you're getting a lot of teams in the playoff or you're only getting 1 or 2. They want to just take the road of, well, let's just make sure we're always getting 4, no matter what. No more, no less. Which is, to me, is just not the way to go. But they're too scared to, jump on a limb and do anything else because fear of losing money, fear of, whatever. Whoever's barking down their neck about dollar bills.
It drives me absolutely nuts. Takes me to the last topic right here. Josh Pate on Sunday, I think it was Sunday, put out one of the more recent episodes, and he was talking about people He's talking about me.
Yep.
Talking about me, who says, "Oh, college football is not the same. College football is eroding. It's kind of harder to be as all in on college football as it used to be." And he goes, "Wow, just college." He pontificates a bit, and he's great at it. Go see him late kick draws. Absolutely, he's great at it. But he pontificates and says, "Do college football Saturdays feel differently?" And he's based his perspective. He's trying to say they don't feel differently. You get on a campus, it's still party. It's still football, rah. You leave the stadium, you're on a high for a win. You leave the stadium, you're brokenhearted over a loss. The big plays are still, and the shocking moments are still there. Yeah, they are. They are.
Only for your Alabamas and your LSUs and Georgias and Ohio States. I don't know that it's that way for everybody.
Fewer and farther between, for sure, even for the Alabamas, Ohio States, Georgias, and the like. When I was in school, so yes, back in my day, 08 to 12 or so, Bryant-Denny Stadium is sold out every single weekend, whether it's ULM, Eastern Illinois, or LSU in the stadium. And it is a fever pitch. These Eastern Illinois games, they're going to be given away in charity. These tickets are going to be charity gifts this year. That's not me making a joke.
No, it'll be all kinds of, you'll see a bunch of groups probably wearing the same T-shirts and things all there and, together to be there because they received a large swath of tickets from the university.
I'm not trying to be even remotely funny, but yes, you can go to the ULM game without a ticket, $10 in your pocket, and you can go into Bryant-Denny Stadium. Just is what it is. And maybe money's not the best metric there, but that just is an indicator of passion to me. It's an indicator of fever pitch. Now, he said that it all started, you've got to get the excitement back for National Signing Day. You got to get the excitement, because I remember being in school being in Tom Ehrenberg's class on signing day, watching is Pat Surtain and who is his teammate, Tyson Campbell, right? That 2 5-star corners, both from St. Thomas Aquinas. Alabama's in on both of them. Can they get them both? And Pat Surtain puts on the hat and I go, oh, yeah. And Tyson, I think his name's Tyson Campbell, goes to Georgia, ends up being Jacksonville Jaguar, I believe. Didn't get him, but ended up being, that was an exciting moment. And you just don't get that anymore.
No, not at all.
You don't get any of that anymore. And even if you did get it, even if you did get your guy jumping in the pool with a cannonball with Dan Lanning, that commitment lasted them
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. 17 days, I believe, was the exact number.
Dan Lanning put his swim trunks on and cannonballed into the pool and came out going, "Oh, Oregon," for a 3-week commitment for a 5-star. Like what? Yes. Do Saturdays, are they the same once kickoff happens? Yes.
Sure.
When I'm in Bryant-Denny Stadium and you get the roar tide and the kickoff happens, it is absolutely the same. Shoot. The Jalen Milrose first start against Texas A&M, the moment of, is Bryce Young going to play or is he not? That was one of the most high tension moments in Bryant-Denny Stadium for me, just as a moment, right? As a circumstance. That was on par with, take me all the way back to 09-10 against LSU. Julio Jones goes down the sidelines. The stadium's falling apart, right? I'm on the sideline as is it Terry Arnold who knocks away the final pass against Texas A&M that night? And everybody's, deep breath, right? Yeah, that feels the same. It does. But right now doesn't feel the same. The excitement doesn't feel the same for the season. The passion for the fan base. I mean, Alabama's one of the most passionate fan bases there is. It's kind of made fun of sometimes for the passion. But, like, the Alabama fan base to me seems a little more diminished. And people go, oh, you get the detractors. That's because they're fair weather fans. No, I don't believe. Like, sure, you got a percentage of that. Yeah. Great, whatever. But, like, on the whole, the Alabama fan base, whether it's Nick Saban, Kalen DeBoer, or your mama coaching, wants to support the team. Mm-hmm. I don't know what you do. But what's happening right now, this week's debate of what we're going to do with the college football playoff, what we're going to do about automatic qualifiers. Look, I know Greg Sankey is protecting his interest. He's protecting the interests of his athletic directors, protecting the interests of his league. He's doing his job. Great job, Greg Sankey, honestly, from what your job actually is. Yeah. But are you actively also killing the passion for the sport a bit? Yes. I mean, he's a businessman. It's his job to protect the business interests of the SEC, of Greg Burns' athletic department, of any other athletic director in the conference. It's Scott Strickland, Florida. Great. He works for them, and he's doing a good job for them. But for Jimmy from Gordo, from Billy from Coleman, who wants to support the Tide, like, I think they're making things really hard on him. And I wonder, like, I think Josh Pate is absolutely plugged in. Not saying that he's not at all. Yeah. And I think he's absolutely great at what he does. But Josh, it does feel differently than it did even 5 years ago. And maybe it's all NIL and portal. And oh my gosh, I can be Boomer yelling at Cloud. I was on the side of, give me NIL and portal, player freedom. And I still largely am. But it's gotten to such a point where we are just so far away from the soul of college football. I got friends who always are making fun of me, and they're only the FCS football is real football now. Well, hard to argue, hard to really come. Yeah, I mean, like, push back on you, buddy.
Yeah, that's a hard thing to argue against because, like you said, it's just gotten so far away from what it was not that long ago in such a short time. I don't know what you do. I don't know how you make it. I don't know how you fix this issue for these disenfranchised fans who kind of feel like they've been left in the dust here.
It's easy, but they won't do it. It's very easy, but they won't do it. You say, all right, we're biting the bullet on 16 games, or 16 teams in the playoff. Okay, everybody's in. 5 AQs, 11 at-larges. You better be in. And, like, people go back to last year with Alabama and all, what you talked about, Mike Golick. Is this the team we want to launch 1,000 ships for? Alabama was in the top of 12 last year. Yeah. They finished 11. They finished 11 and got beat out because of the automatic qualifier. And, like, you can complain about SMU only getting dropped 2 spots after their loss, but the fact of the matter is Alabama was in the top 12.
Yeah.
But the way the system was, AQs, like, that's just going to happen, whether you're at 16, at 24, at whatever. Like,
people get left out.
Somebody's going to get left out. Let's say you go to the 5-11 model. Somebody's going to be sitting there at 15, 16 thinking, oh, my gosh, are we about to get jumped by 24 ranked Tulane because they're the highest ranked Group of 6 conference champion? Like, you're not going to avoid it.
Yeah.
You're not going to avoid what happened last year, no matter what system you go in. Someone's going to have hurt feelings. South Carolina, we got a great win over Clemson. You're going to get hurt feelings. Ole Miss, well, we did lose to Florida. Dang it. I think the 5-11 model, and you just embrace the fact that it's just not going to always be fair. And it's going to be cyclical. Sometimes you're going to have 8 Big Ten schools. Sometimes you're going to have 8 SEC schools. Sometimes you'll get 4 ACC schools. It just is what it is. So that's the first thing. You quit arguing about it, and you quit changing it every 2 years, because that mess wears your fan base out. Why can you get invested in the NFL? You know the model. You know all 4 division champs, the next 2 wild cards, and we'll just play it out from there, right? And it's been the model for a long time. And we're going to let this they didn't add that next wild card for a long time, right? The Bears got got that extra wild card in 2019, and it didn't even feel like we were got our doors blown off by the Saints because we shouldn't have been there, because they added the wild card. But it's it took them a long time to add that extra wild card game and take away the bye from the second ranked team in the division. We're not giving this enough sample size. We're not giving any of these models enough of a sample size to determine if we like them or not. I guess you might have given the 4 team almost enough.
Sure.
Almost enough.
I made it close to a decade.
Right. We're going to go 2 years. We're going to go 4 years with this 12-team model and then mix it up again. We went 1 year with the 12-team model with this. They get automatically the 4 teams, and we changed it. Now, it was a positive change, but the point is, you got to give some of these models a chance to breathe and see what happens, because year to year to year in college football is different every single year.
Yeah, at some point you got to just take your hands off of it and kind of let it be what it is. Let's just see what happens, because even if the automatic qualifier from last season had stayed, the same seeding and everything had stayed, it'd be okay. It wouldn't be great. We would prefer the straight seeding. But it's not that big of a deal if they had just let it roll for the next 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah, let's see how it plays out.
Let's see what happens over the next years, and then we come back to the. I don't. We don't have to have a meeting every year. We don't have to have a summit every year to decide the rules of the college football playoff. Make this a once in a decade, once every 5 years kind of thing. It's just, oh man.
Because I think about, all right, I'll make this real personal. I think about my mother, who is a diehard Georgia fan. Went to Georgia with Herschel Walker, saw him win national champion, and has been such ever since. My mom likes college football, and on Saturdays she watches Georgia and the rest of whoever with Dad. But I promise you, my mother's not. Oh, what's the model this year? Oh, how does Georgia make the playoffs? And she is a smart fan. Mm-hmm. As far as paying attention, she's not consuming all the content, but on Saturdays when Georgia's playing, she's there.
Yeah.
This is your fan. This is the people that you need to keep.
That's the average fan. That's,
Right. And so you're changing the model year after year. Oh, we have to. There's no more divisions. We're not playing Tennessee, Florida, South Carolina, Kentucky, Vanderbilt. Okay, all right, cool. I can embrace that. You're throwing all these changes, fans like my mother, over and over, and it's fine. And at some point, it's throw it up. Think about any Georgia player that my mother might have liked and then transferred out. It's just not the portal is okay. Yeah. So first thing I'm doing is AQ 5 and 11. Period. Great. And just saying, tough titties if you get left out. I'm sorry, Alabama. I'm sorry, Alabama. It was not fun to get sent to whatever Outback Bowl, VRBO, Citrus, whatever bowl it was in Florida that they got beat. Right? It wasn't fun. But just the system is what it was. You were the 11th team. But, buddy, you ended up bumped out because of the way it works. Should
have been better.
Right, exactly. Don't lose to Oklahoma. Yeah, don't lose to Vanderbilt. You'd be fine. That's the first thing you're doing. The second thing you're doing is just listen to the coaches. Please listen to the coaches. What did they say yesterday? 1 transfer portal window, 10 days into the season after national championship. It's so simple. Just let these coaches be like, hey, we actually know what's going on. We live this. We actually live this. So you eliminate the double transfer portal window. It's a silly thing.
I mean, that could be one of the like a small thing, but like that could so drastically change college football so quickly. Just getting rid of that second transfer portal window. Oh, because that causes so much headache. Just that one change.
And then and then the other thing you do is we make an across-the-board determination from all 4 Power 4 teams. We're playing 10 Power 4 games. I don't care if you're playing 8 conference games or 9. It doesn't matter. We can argue that all you want. But if you want to be considered for the playoff, you play 10 Power 4 games. Go find you 2 more. Yeah. Go find you 2 more if you're in the SEC, like Alabama's doing this year, Wisconsin and Florida State. Great. Like, you have to have some sort of standard. The arguments for, like, that I'm on the side of last year of, SEC, 8 games, really hard. 8 SEC games is harder than 9 ACC games. Look, we can use our eyes and determine that, but the ACC fan will not hear it, will not receive it, will not embrace it. They doesn't matter. They can watch Alabama, Tennessee, they can watch Georgia, Texas, and they can watch LSU, Ole Miss, and whatever, and they'll still say, nah, you need to play 9. You need to play 9. You need to play 9. And so is the strength of schedule a factor? Yeah, but just have some sort of uniformity. We cannot be playing 136 different sets of rules. Drives me absolutely nuts. So, like, those are the 3 things that I'm doing. I am solidifying the 5-11, and what I'm doing is I'm saying this is the model for 10 years. I'm not talking about this for at least 8 years.
No one touches it.
And then we are eliminating the spring transfer portal window. Yep. We're bumping the winter window from December 15th in the flat middle of bowl season. Like, why are you...
I still think about with the Penn State quarterback, like the one that this happened to a lot of players, but he's just the one that jumps out of my mind. I think he's at Missouri now, but had to leave his team in the midst of college football playoff preparation because if he hadn't, he would have missed out on being able to transfer.
It's the most disgusting part of it to me. You're going to get to December 15th, planning for your bowl, and, well, who do we have? Oh, these 8 guys are going on to their future. Okay. Like, it's patently absurd. It's patently absurd. No other sport in the world does their transferring, does their trading, does their free agency in the middle of playoffs. What? It's the NBA playoffs right now, and we're going to talk about trades. We're going to talk about who's a free agent. We're going to talk about I don't even know who's up for free agency this year, but, like, why would you? You're going to take away from Knicks Pacers. You're going to take away from Thunder T-Wolves. I guess Thunder already won, right? Or maybe they're up 3-1. Great.
I think they're both series are 3-1 right now.
Okay, like, you think those fan bases want to hear about Minnesota or want to hear about who? Utah's transactions? Want to hear about Boston's transactions? Want to hear about the Atlanta Hawks transactions? No, make it about your. It's all about the Larry O'Brien Trophy right now. I don't understand it. You're going to have the playoffs, and you're going to have the Bears negotiating with their free agents because we're out of the playoffs. I'd be sick as a Bears fan if it's the wild card weekend and, well, the Bears are talking to Billy Smith, maybe going to get him on the team. I'd be like, man, y'all should just be feeling bad because we're missing the playoffs. Drives me absolutely nuts. So those are the 3 things that I'm definitely doing, Mason. I think you can fix the sport pretty quickly if you just put the coaches in charge. Put the coaches in charge.
One-time transfer. Not like one window, but like one transfer throughout your career. You get to transfer once for free.
Right.
Just like it used to be. I think that was perfectly fine. And now we get, no more of this free transferring. You 4 schools in 4 years. Like, no. You get one. You get your mulligan. I think it's perfectly reasonable to give an 18-year-old kid a mulligan on their college choice.
Josh goes, do college football Saturdays still feel the same? Dude, go around to all the spring games. You were here.
Oh, man.
You were here. He was in the room. I walks in the room as Kalen DeBoer is talking after 8. No, there was no 8. He's here the week before, right?
Yeah, they did the sit down thing.
Right. He's here the week before they had a scrimmage. Like, you see it.
Yeah.
You can see the pictures. The 8A was very sparsely attended this year. And it wasn't just about Alabama. Same about across everywhere.
For anybody that even had a spring game.
So, I mean, objectively, what, 90,000, 100,000 in 06, 07, down to, what was it, 15 this year? Yeah, I think things are going in a bad direction.
Mm-hmm.
So
fans are losing interest.
All right, Mason, I think we've wasted enough time today. Do you have anything else that we want to chat about? We need to see what Katie Wyndham's up to tomorrow. A softball player entered the transfer portal. We can chat about that with her tomorrow. We can chat about some of these things. I bet you she can ask her father what his favorite drive was, because he's a lifelong Alabama fan as well. So we'll try to see if we can get Katie Wyndham or Will Miller, Alabama Regional. Alabama going to Hattiesburg to take on Southern Miss, take on Miami, and forgot the other team. Western Kentucky, is that right?
Man, I can't remember now.
Hattiesburg Regional. Hattiesburg Regional. I know it's Alabama, Southern Miss, and the University of Miami. Regional is Columbia. Okay, great. Small school Columbia.
We'll see what the Tide can do.
Absolutely. So we'll have a lot of fun tomorrow right here on the Joe Gaither Show. Big shout out to you, Robert from Brookwood, for using the voicemail line today, 205-462-7340, extension 800. If you want to leave the voicemail like Robert, he was fired up, and I loved it. I thought he was spot on, absolutely spot on. So we will get out of here for the day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow right here on the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com.